This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
The Medrash famously comments on the pasuk Vayiyu Chayei Sarah. The Medrash comments Rabbi Akiva was Yoshev V'Doresh. Rabbi Akiva was sitting and expounding, but his Talmidim were misnamnim. They were dozing off. Rabbi Akiva wanted to arouse them, wanted to awaken them. So what he said, why was Esther Zoicha to rule over 127 Medinos in the merit of her righteous ancestress Sarah, who lived 127 righteous years? So the Ben La'ashri, the Tzadik Ranana asks, how in the world will this drasha arouse and awaken the Talmidim? What exactly is so interesting and inspiring about this particular drasha? Says the Tzadik Ranana, when the Medrash says that the Talmidim were bikesh lehisnamnim, this tenuma, this dozing off, most cases is common by people that fall into depression, hopelessness, helplessness, despondency, until they're afraid even to think about their lives and about their spiritual repertoire and what their standing is. They're so broken, they're so miyuash. And even though they're not mamish asleep, but their das is not working. Like Chazal say in the Gemara Megillah Yechas Amud Beis, Hechidami misnamnem, nim v'loy nim, tir v'loy tir, v'lo yada lahadurei svara. Now we know that the generation of Rabbi Akiva was in the immediate aftermath of the Chorban Beis HaMikdash. And therefore, they were misyayish, they were despondent. Every day there were more and more gzeros, there were more yisurim. They figured there is no tikkun, there's no rectification. Says the Tzadik of Ranana. Rabbi Akiva tells them, why was Esther Zoicha to rule over 127 Medinos? In the merit of her righteous ancestress, Sarah, who lived 127 righteous years. Asked the Tzadik of Ranana, Bishlama, when Sarah was a Gedoyla and she did mitzvahs amasim toivim, they could stand up for the merit of Esther. But the days of Sarah's youth, when she was a katan, a pu'uta, she didn't do anything. What zuchus did she have? You must say, says the Tzadik of Ranana, that when you're misakein in your later years, that is misakein, that corrects, that rectifies even the earlier years. So too you, my dear Talmidim, whatever has been done is done. Please wake up now. Please be nisar yourself now. Be misake now. And this will bring the binyan Beis HaMikdash, and whatever was, but we can still be misakein. Al pi the derech of the Tzadik Ranana, perhaps we can offer a similar interpretation, but perhaps add an added point of inspiration, and that's as follows. As the Tzadik Ranana said, this was in the aftermath of the Chorban. And they were bikesh lehisnamnim, they were dozing off, they were meyuash, they were hopeless, they were despondent, they felt so broken, they felt so shattered, they felt their lives and their spiritual life was hopeless and helpless. So what does Rabbi Akiva say? Do you remember this Esther? Esther was taken away from her husband Mordechai. She was taken away from the Jewish people. She was in a despicable place. She was being violated by the disgusting Achashverosh. Her life seemed to be over. Her life seemed to be destroyed. The Jewish people were in threat of being annihilated. But what happened to Esther? Esther was Zoiche to rule over 127 Medinos. Do you realize that in the merit of Sarah Imenu, her merit was able to transform the most impossible and despondent and helpless and hopeless situation into one of great triumph and one of great ecstasy? In the merit of Sarah, it took the most miserable, desperate situation. Klal Yisrael was threatened, lahashmel abed. So Esther's life was seemingly destroyed, and it transformed such a desperate, miyuashtika situation into great triumph. So too you, my dear Talmidim, you may be living in the aftermath of the Chorban, but recognize through mitzvahs amasim toivim you could transform the most helpless, hopeless situation into one of the greatest bracha possible. And this was Rabbi Akiva's chizuk to ma'orer his wonderful Talmidim. Wishing everyone a great evening.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.